Everyone in the NFL is looking for the next digital solution. They want faster computers, more analytics, and lighter, faster players to run spread offense and to chase those players around. But in life, when things get too digital, I'm noticing the solution to these problems that we're facing in this new digital world are analog. The Navy is going back to teaching sextants to their captains, navigators. Car companies are starting to put buttons back in cars instead of screens. And that's exactly what I'm seeing the Buffalo Bills doing right now with how they are building the roster. They're going back to this 1980s, 1990s power football where you smash your opponent in the mouth and you keep their best player off the field. In my estimation, analog football will always beat digital football in January. But that's just my take. Welcome in, Bills Mafia. If you're tired of the mainstream media feeding you soft takes about fantasy points and track stars, and you want real, unapologetic, raw football strategy, hit that subscribe button right now because we don't do any fluff around here. We're building the most honest Bills community on the internet. So let's get into it. So the United States Navy has reverted back to teaching their navigators how to use a sextant. Well, what is a sextant? It's this, an old school navigation tool used by navigators when ships were wooden and people thought the earth was flat. Why are they going to be using this tool, you ask? Well, to defeat GPS jammers and technology scramblers. If you have someone who knows how to use a sextant on a ship, you'll always be able to navigate the earth using simply the stars and the sun. The solution to our digital problems that we've created is an analog one. The same is true for car manufacturers. They're learning that the digital equipment that they're putting into these vehicles malfunctions at a much higher rate than the tactile analog buttons that were prominent in the 90s and 80s. Not only do these mechanisms last longer, but they are actually less distracting because you can memorize how many buttons over a certain particular button you use often is. That way you don't have to physically take your eyes off the road. What I see is the Bills realizing that trying to hack the NFL may be a bad idea. Just because other teams have done it and been successful doesn't mean that every team can do it and be successful. I think that they're realizing that there's not much you can do against raw physical ground assault because we've been on the receiving end of plenty of those for the last few years. By leaning on the run game, we can utilize tools that don't require perfect weather or perfect schemes. If my guys are more violent than your guys, I'm gonna hurt you and beat you. Pretty on or off switch to me. Our society in general is losing raw grit and we're replacing it in favor of cheap digital flash. Take the music and movie industry, for instance. Those industries peaked in the 90s and 2000s. I don't care what anyone has to say. These movies and songs were made with real instruments, physical film, and human soul. Now, everything is CGI and auto-tune. It looks pretty, but it has no weight. The modern NFL passing game is just like modern superhero movies. All flashy explosions, but zero substance when adversity hits. Buffalo isn't building a fake Marvel movie. They're building a gritty 90s action movie that relies on real stunts and physical power. Unlike most current modern NFL offenses that are just like Marvel movies and auto-tune music. Expensive, fake, completely forgettable when you compare to the 90s. I believe the current roster moves that we're seeing conducted by the Buffalo Bills are in anticipation for January and not September. I mean, just take a look at what they're actually doing. Joe Brady didn't turn Josh Allen into a dink and dunk quarterback. They committed to making James Cook a focal point, leading to the league best rushing production, and they're bringing in players like CJ Gardner-Johnson to give the room a nasty defensive edge. I don't think that they're trying to build a finesse dome team that scores 40 points in the sun. I think they're building a team that can drag you into the deep water of Lake Ontario when it's 20 degrees in Western New York. With this type of team and this makeup, with the guys that we currently have on this roster, I don't think Josh Allen actually honestly does need a 1,500-yard receiver to be successful. I think Jim Leonhard is here to do a lot of the heavy lifting. The only real defense against an elite digital offense is a heavy clock. You don't beat Patrick Mahomes by having a better passing game than him. You don't out-finesse him. The only way to beat him is to rush him, make him have to get chunk plays where we can actually come and tee off on him, or by making him a spectator on the sideline. I think that by building a dominant run game, Buffalo's establishing a system that they can really dominate the time of possession and have 9-minute drives, keep the defense nice and ready to just totally attack defenses. And hopefully by making teams one-dimensional, that really shores up a lot of the running issues that we've seen on this defense in the past few years. But to me, time of possession is the ultimate analog statistic. You cannot score if you are standing on the sideline. In all honesty, Patrick Mahomes is only great because soft defenses let him be. You run the ball down that defense's throat, leaving him little time to respond, and he becomes a different player. But I know all the Chiefs fans and the analytic nerds are already typing out furious 400-word essays in the comments. Good. Tell me exactly why you think a track team is going to out-finesse a
Buffalo Blizzard in January.
Drop your take below. Smash that like button if you respect real physical football. And keep your eye out for the next video where I break down some more of the off-season hype around the Buffalo Bills. I'll see you down in the comments. Till then, go Bills.